Hi, Francisco Sirvent, attorney with the Keystone Law Firm. How many of your family members are going to fight over your personal belongings after you're gone? Hopefully none. And we don't see that often. Thank goodness, right? But these can be sometimes the most important things that get distributed after you pass. Tangible personal items around the house, they either have the ones that they're going to fight over, right? They either have high sentimental value or high dollar value. If you have any item around the house that has either one of those, then you should specifically decide what's going to happen with that item. There's really only three ways to do it. You're going to give it to somebody while you're alive. You're going to designate who gets it after you pass, or you're not going to do either of those. Those are the three options. Now, first, if you have something that has high sentimental value, maybe it was an heirloom from an ancestor, from a grandfather or a great aunt, you want to find out who in your family or where you want that item to go. And if you want to see the benefit of that gift, you are free to give that during your life. You do not have to wait until the terms of your will or your trust are implemented after you pass. Giving it while you're alive has a couple huge benefits. The first one is, of course, you get to see the person enjoy it. Or if it's a collection that you give to a museum, you get to see it be displayed and people enjoy it. I mean, that can be a lot of fun. The other, maybe the more important benefit is that if the rest of your family sees you give it to that person or that charity or whatever it is, there's no more fighting. People might not be happy about the decision, but they can't challenge it. A lifetime gift, as long as you're competent, there's no way to challenge that. So you really get to avoid that whole controversy in the future by making that gift during your life. Now, the second option is to designate in your will, in your trust, or on some personal property memorandum who will receive it after you die. And there's lots of different ways to do that, and there's advantages and disadvantages to doing it in your will, your trust, or on a memorandum. But the way this will get implemented is on your death, the person you've designated to wrap up your affairs will find that item in your house and make the gift. And if they're smart, they'll get a receipt saying that the gift was made. What you don't want to do is the third option, and that is to make no decision about it. If you have something that has high dollar value or high sentimental value, you definitely want to choose options 1 or 2 and make instructions for that. Because if you don't, there's going to probably be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people who think you wanted them to have it. And trust me, we've heard beneficiaries say this. I know she wanted me to have this. We talked about it. Unless it's in writing, nobody gets it. Okay? Unless all the beneficiaries agree that one person gets it. And if they don't, then guess what happens? It gets sold and then the money gets distributed. So making the third choice, right, where you really don't make a decision, is basically saying, I want this item to be sold. Now, for all the other things in your life, in your house that don't have high sentimental value or do not have high dollar value, you are free to make specific instructions for what happens to those items. And if you don't, then your executor or your trustee will gather all the things. If there are agreements among your beneficiaries about who receives what, then they can distribute those items directly to each of the beneficiaries. And the rest of the things that they don't have agreements on or nobody wants, they will hold an estate sale and donate the rest. And that's a sufficient answer for how to deal with all the other things in life.